Now this is a little more complicated than our last video in this series for Minecraft server as a dedicated server. This works a little bit different because it is on the same machine that you game on. So we have to worry about the ports that it's using. We have to worry about the IP address that it's using. We have to worry about making sure it's exempt from some Microsoft processes. And we're going to go over all of that. But first thing we want to do is to get Minecraft started on your machine. Now this is also a server that your friends can join on your PC. Alright, so let's go to the link in the description, which gives us our Bedrock server, and we're going to download that. It is going to download to our downloads. Here, I usually cut it. I left it there for this video. Usually I cut it and drop it on the C drive. Once on the C drive, I created a new folder called Minecraft Server. And in there, I moved our Bedrock server and just right click and extract here, and it extracts most of these files. Now, I will say here, and you'll see I have Minecraft 1 PC starter.bat. That is a script that I compiled from other resources and put in here so that it runs all my exceptions and does everything for me, so I don't have to do more than one thing. If you smash those like and subscribe buttons, shoot me an email. My email address is in the description. If you are subscribed, I will give you a copy of this batch file, so it makes it easier to run the server on your own PC. So there's a reason to like and subscribe to get some of the any scripts or batch files or anything I create. I'm more than happy to give to any of the subscribers. Alright, so once that's extracted, we want to run our Bedrock server one time so that it starts. We can see the ports that it's requesting, all those things. Right? Once it's started, it says server starts. All you have to do is type stop and it quits. But what it's done is it's created all these extra directories for all the resources and all those things. So we want to run it one time by itself. But now that it's done that, we want to right click on the server properties, and we want to edit with Notepad, of course. Now, some of the things we want to change. Server name, I just named it my machine name, 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐬. You can select survival, creative, or adventure, and we're going to do survival because Hawk and I like to play survival. I do set it on easy for Hawk, but there is peaceful, normal, and hard as well. We do allow cheats on our server because we like to cheat when we build, because we like to make some stupid monstrosities. Max players 10, of course. Online mode true. You always want to make sure this is true if you're playing multiplayer, or if you have people from the outside coming in. Whitelist, I don't bother whitelisting. I'll have a couple of friends besides Hawk on here, but you know, I don't worry about whitelisting. I am leaving the server ports default. If you have somebody coming in from outside, you will have to add this to your port forwarding. If you don't know how to do that, please refer back to my Conan Exiles Exile server, or Left 4 Dead, or the 7 Days to Die videos, those server setups all have very detailed port forwarding in them. Alright, so I've commented out our IPv6 port because we don't use IPv6, but you can leave it its default open on there, so it's not real relevant if you don't use IPv6. So some of the other options, you know, your tick distance and some of these others, I don't care to change. I just leave them blank or whatever the default is. Alright, so our server properties are completed. So we're going to save those. And once they're saved, we are going to go back and run our run our Bedrock server. So we're going to run it. Now we're going to minimize that. Now, if you will look in your directory, there is a server how-to HTML. That is this file. Here it says to run this exception. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in CMD, and you're going to right click run as administrator. Now I will tell you that having done this a gazillion times, if you run this, it may or may not work. It may or may not, for a lot of reasons, and there are too many to get into here. But a command that I have found that I do have in the description is this. It uses the same CheckNetIsolation.exe. It does it a little differently and a little more pointed. Oh, I see what might be the problem. Well, what do you know? But this works every time. This is the command I have put in my script. If you're a subscriber that you can get, so make sure you smash those like and subscribe buttons. Send me a request for this script, and I'll show you in a few minutes how much easier it is to run. So I have the server started. I need to get into my game. I need to run this command first. You should see it say OK before you move on to starting your game. Once this says OK, you can close it. Our server is running. Now we're going to start Minecraft. And I'll show you how to connect here. Alright, so we're going to play. You'll see our default is 6, so it already sees our dead server, mostly because I've already put it in there. So what's different is we can't get the server name's just a text string. It's not overly relevant. What it does care about is that you can use localhost as the server IP address. The application knows localhost is pointed to its local loopback, which is 127.0.0.1. Now, I will tell you in just a second, as soon as because this in my ear, the bloody music is unfreaking bearable. Okay. I'm sorry. Now let me go. That's not even audio. That is still way too much. Let me put you down to 10. Yeah, that's a little better. Oh my God, that was, no, what am I doing? Oh, okay. So, sorry. All right. All right, so 127.0.0.1 is your internal local loop. So basically that is the address everything in your PC uses to see your network card or to look back at itself without actually going out to the internet. So the other thing is, but what I found is that using using a local host will sometimes cause issues. And in my research, people have been going from localhost to the actual loopback address. It helps the PC define if you've had something screw up, a virus or something that might have changed some internal Windows settings that might be pointing in the wrong direction. There could be a plethora of things. It's more direct to just tell it to look at the loopback. Avoid yourself a lot of headache and just put in the 127.0.0.1. Your port can be any port you specify in your server properties config. Now, I've left this on the default port because I'm only connecting to my machine locally, so the port's not overly relevant. If I had friends on the internet who wanted to come in, again, make sure that you have put those ports in your firewall, in your port forwarding rules. If you don't know how to do that, see 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐧𝐤𝐬 server or my Left 4 Dead or 7 Days to Die servers. Those tutorials have very detailed port forwarding in them. So we're going to save this configuration and we are going to join the server. And of course it gives us the, yeah, we know we online play, we're exposed to things. Yeah, okay. And we're in our game. And once everything renders in, bam-o, bam-o, we're in our game. And I have got to find somewhere to build my fort. And I think I may do it on that island out there. But that's it. Now, let's exit our game here. Hey, sorry for the late cut in. I didn't notice until I was in post edit that I forgot to mention something. So you will need to know your local host IP address that's external to you and not the 127 local loop address. But you will need to know the address you have on your own LAN. So if somebody's on your LAN that you're playing with, like I'm playing with Hawk, he has to know that IP address so that he can put it in to join the server on my machine. How you find that is simply open up your command prompt, type in IP config, enter, and it tells you right there your IP address, default gateway. All of that's not relevant in this case, excuse me. But Um, others on your LAN do need to know what your IP address is so that they can connect to your server on your local machine. Now, just like with a standalone dedicated server, you will want to give anyone who wants to join your machine outside your network from the internet, you're going to need to go to what's my IP address to know your external IP address. Now, if you've followed my tutorials, you should know what those are already. But just in case you don't, I'll put this link in the description. Get your external IP address and the port you've configured in the server properties for your server. As stated before in my other tutorials, I never try to stay with default if that's the way I'm going to set it up permanently to run for any extended period of time. When I set up my ports, I always go outside default. I highly recommend you do the same and you record exactly what you set them to. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program. So you see it showed us logged into our server, so we want to stop the server. Now, what I have done for subscribers, what I have done is I have created a batch file that does this exception and starts the server for you. So you don't have to do anything but run. So what I've done is I just sent my batch file to the desktop, of course, boom, create shortcut, and I've given it some silly change the icon to something silly, and I just put it in there because that was like in the previous video. It's just, I like the way it looks. You know, you could leave it blank, you could leave it the way it is by default, or you could change the icon. It's up to you. But what this does for me is for the command line, you'll see it starts our exception. We should have this okay. If you do not, you will not be able to connect to the server. Press any key to continue, and our server starts. And it's that easy, my friends. It is that easy. And then we just go to Minecraft, start Minecraft. Excuse me. And we play. And we get on our server. And we do all those great and wonderful things that we do in Minecraft because it's so much fun. It is. I love Minecraft. I've liked it a lot more in the past couple years than I did previously. When this game first came out, it was such a kid's game. And no adult ever played it. And then its popularity has just grown. Well, that's it for today, folks. I hope you smash those like and subscribe buttons. If you have, please feel free to hit me up and request any files that I've created that I can send you. Also, if you want to see a particular server done for a particular game, let me know, as long as it does have a dedicated server. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this short video. I hope you have fun playing Minecraft. I'm LoopbackExempt. This is CrackMods and Gaming, and happy gaming.